Okay, so got something kind of fun on the agenda for today. I just found the poll. There we go. So this has got nothing to do with fitness today, fitness and nutrition. This has all got to do with reading. Because I have a little basket full of books, and I never get to read them, and I feel so inspired to not only just read them for myself, but read them out loud so that we all read them together. So hopefully this is entertaining for other people as well. So help me kind of get through the books. Also help me get more watch hours, which would be great. And help me connect with all of you guys. Read, yes, do, yes, 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 what should I do? Honestly, that kind of like, okay, dark hole. Okay, so it's a little bit in the way. We'll just do it. We'll do it that way. Okay, so this is what I wanted to read first. One that I've actually met this author. It's really cool. Hello, Leon Plays. How's it going? From Heartbreak to Wholeness, The Hero's Journey to Joy, and by Kristine Carlson. So she's pretty cool. She's done a lot of life works, I want to say. Like, basically, her husband died very suddenly, and I actually don't know that song. Um, and instead of, I guess, letting it ruin her life, it was a invitation. It was like life's invitation to creating a new life for herself. So yeah, I wanted to read this book. I think this relates more to grief and loss. So Heartbroken Open memoir. So it's like self-discovery after loss. So da-di-da. So here are the contents page. So we'll be able to read through the different chapters and see what she has to say. So we got chapter 1, Initiation of Crisis. We got Preparing for the Journey. We've got Awakening. Chapter 4 is The Jagged Edge of Growth. Chapter 5 is Discovery, Recovery, and Rediscovery. Chapter 6 is Emerging Now. Chapter 7 is The Alchemy of Change. Rebirthing a New Life is Chapter 8. Chapter 9 is Into Wholeness, Returning to Joy. And then she's got uh, some stuff after that, essentially. So she's got an acknowledgments section, an introduction section, how to use this book. So this is basically about grief. And so I don't know if anyone here can relate to grief, and I can certainly relate to that. My dad passed away very suddenly 8 years ago, and that was really tough. I joined a lot of different grief groups and grieved through that. So this would have been super helpful, just in the sense of loss in general, but this is more so related to loss and in partnership. So, you know, my mom was with my dad for 20 something years, and then he suddenly passes away. So my mom actually got this book, was gifted by a friend, and so this I think helps her more. So yeah, just see where this applies to your life, and if you've been through grief of any kind, then yeah. So, grief is tough. It puts you through the contractions of labor that open you as you empty out your emotions and let go of your attachments to birthing a new life. That is why this book contains 9 chapters, symbolic of the 9 months of gestation from the fluttering of a new life to its birth into the world. I just realized. Can't tell if you guys can hear me through my headphones or hear me through the mic, so I could probably take that out and let it charge. Here we go, please sing. Oh, you guys want some singing today? It's very sweet. I don't usually sing, and I have not really done a lot of singing on here. But hello, I'm First Watch. Where are you from? I'm from California in the Bay Area. What about you, Robbie? Let's see. The process of healing your heartbreak and returning to wholeness and happiness is its own process of incubation and evolution. No one can tell you how much time it will take to heal. In telling my own story of healing and those of others and guiding you through yours, I've chosen to use the hero's journey as it is an archetypal story that belongs to all of us. Joseph Campbell is most noted for bringing this ancient wisdom to modern times. It's the collectively inherited story of human unfolding, woven together from world mythologies through time. And it serves as a profound map. It helps us see that we are on a path of meaning and purpose, even when fear and grief leave us confused and grappling. It offers us guideposts even when the way home appears to be wholly lost. As I witnessed my own healing path, I realized I had walked the hero's journey. It's important to note, though, that my use of the hero's journey is not in any way a depiction of Joseph Campbell's extraordinary mythological work. It is my own interpretation of how the hero's journey applies to the process of healing loss and grief, moving through the stages of recovery and returning to wholeness and joy. An equally important body of work is that of Maureen Murdoch, the author of The Heroine's Journey. Murdoch's brilliant analysis of the woman's search for wholeness and meaning has been a source of wisdom and that I have applied at pivotal times in my life. However, I have chosen here to refer primarily to the hero's journey as the more gender-neutral term because this book is written for both men and women. On a personal level, while I've always walked the heroine's journey, healing my own heartbreak, as you will read in the pages to come, has involved reclaiming my masculine qualities in the process of becoming a fully integrated woman. There came a point where I consciously chose not to be a victim of my circumstances, but instead to walk the hero's journey toward my new life. At the end of each chapter, you will find exercises and processes that I've created to both deepen and accelerate your healing journey. This process section will help you solidify your insights and integrate what you learn. The whole basis for processing is to find the meaning of what's happened. It's so important for us to put all events in order for ourselves so that we're not living in victimhood and being assaulted over and over. We can move forward. At the end of each chapter, I will first lead you through a specific soul mantra designed to relax you into a state of openness and affirmation. Then I lead you through a soul inquiry section, a series of journaling questions that invoke your honest responses to an inspired transformational writing process that will assist you in framing your story. After you have explored these questions, you will come to the concluding section of the chapter titled Your New Story. There is writing space provided where you can get to the essence of the lessons you're learning about yourself and the story you may be seeing in new ways. Please keep in mind that you don't have to be a writer to do these exercises. You just need to respond to the question in order to receive your own inner wisdom. This is an internal process for you to discover the hero within you. In short, I want you to use the processes at the end of each chapter to shift and change and become the hero of your own epic journey. As you frame your story, of course, I'll show you how. Seeing yourself as the hero may feel foreign at first, a little uncomfortable if you feel that you've been at the mercy of life, battered by adverse circumstances. My hope is that you see your own courage in the coming pages and are empowered to choose differently, that you get unstuck, and that you feel my guidance and encouragement along the way. You're not alone. There are millions of other people walking alongside you for different reasons, all on the path to healing from heartbreak. My journey has been a wild ride, a roller coaster that has required me to ride it with my arms high above my head as I take the curves in surrender. I've had some challenging initiations and astounding spiritual experiences shared here that are out of this world, sometimes defying logic and reasons. While I don't know why some have extraordinary spiritual experiences and others don't seem to, my hope is sharing some of mine with you here is that it will open you to or remind you of the grace, help, and divine love that surround us always, especially in those moments when we can't see the light. Your story is your medicine. Just pause for a second. Okay, cool. Your story is your medicine. The richness of story becomes the focus here because it is ultimately the stories we tell ourselves within the quiet of your own minds that have the biggest impact on your daily lives and shaping our destinies. That's why it becomes so relevant for you to frame your story through the hero's lens. Also, there's such power in sharing your story of lessons learned. We have always learned from the time we were children through story. When you walk the path of the hero, you empower others to do the same by your example. I have met so many leaders along this path of story sharing who have walked the hero's path. These people have suffered greatly and transformed their loss into greater meaning, and it is the power of their story and how they each chose to be the hero that has helped them become greater leaders. In the face of adversity and loss, we all fall down, but it's how you get up and stand and step forward that reveals who you are. Years ago, in my living room, after I had written a memoir, Heartbroken Open, a memoir through loss of di- through loss to self-discovery, I would hold heartbroken open circles for women. As we moved around the circle, the healing salve became evident in each woman's voice as she shared her story of loss. The power to heal comes in sharing our story. The journey from heartbreak to joy. At the heart of my message to you is this. You have one choice in how you move through the stages of healing presented in these pages. Are you a victim or are you a hero? I have always seen that there are two possible paths, and you are likely standing at the fork in the road right now. There's only one way to go if you deeply desire to live and return to an empowered life of joy. You must follow the mindset and path of the hero, and I will show you how to do that early in the book. Through stories and examples, I will teach you how to turn your story into the hero's journey. And I will show you how you can look at the circumstances you face right now in a way that will empower you to live with greater meaning and renewed purpose despite what you've been through. My purpose to you is that you will feel hopeful as you read this book. You will feel guided and know that I'm holding your hand through each page. I'm with you. We are connected heart to heart. Even though I don't know the details of your unique story, I understand what you've been through. And I want you to know you are not just going to survive, you're going to do so much more than that. You're going to grow and evolve in ways that will change the way you show up in the world. You're going to blossom in ways that will show you who you are. My loss did that for me. It awakened me and showed me who I am. And I'm no different than you, except maybe that I had so many tools from having lived a happy life, and practicing the philosophy that was born from my beloved late husband Richard Carlson's work in the Don't Sweat the Small Stuff books. I'm giving all of that to you here in these pages. While you likely came to this book thinking it is about loss, what you will discover is that this book will teach you more about how to live from this point forward. You will transform, you will heal, you will emerge greater than you can possibly imagine. You will return to wholeness, a wholeness that has always existed within you. Moreover, you will return to joy, treasure the gifts of life and love. And that is just the very beginning. That wasn't even chapter 1 yet. Whew. I almost think that's all I can do at a time. That's read a chapter at a time. My voice will kind of dip out after a while, especially developing the hero's mindset, choosing to surrender the beautiful paradox, soul inquiry. Very cool. So pretty nice. Got some notes there. Mm, I do not know who those people are. Doo-doo-doo. Very cool. Okay, so initiation by crisis. Chapter 1. The promise of Chapter 1, your life has changed. You have stepped into the unknown. The next choices you will make will determine whether you are the victim or the hero of your own precious life story. Take my hand. I will help you to choose wisely. Just for those who are coming in, there we go. You can actually see the title and see what I'm reading. My journey began when an extraordinary day in early December, one that included morning dishes, getting the kids off to school, running errands, completing end of year school projects with my daughters, both in high school, um, and simply doing what I always did while preparing for the holidays was shattered by a single phone call. Like a milk carton, the doctor told me the love of my life had expired. A silent killer in the form of a pulmonary embolism made its way from his leg to explode in his lung, taking my husband's life without warning on the descent of a flight into New York City. That day that turned our lives upside down and devastated our family. Richard and I met in college and shared a fairy tale romance for 25 years. We became a family of four as we raised two amazing daughters. Our cup ran over with a marriage made of deep cherishing devotion, nurturing communication, vital inspiration, and unending gratitude for each other. We were mostly pals with a true understanding of what our partnership meant. No matter what was happening in our lives, we were able to meet each other with a kind of respect that evolved over the years into greater reverence. To us, there was no one that stood on higher ground or who was more able to offer comfort, encouragement, and support. It didn't matter if we were miles apart in our travels for business or play. With few exceptions, we started our days with "Good morning, honey" by phone or enjoying a coffee in the early morning hours, sharing our hopes and dreams, working on chapters of a book together, and strategizing about parenting our kids. One of the keys to the success of our marriage was our listening. We were really listening to each other, especially to the feelings behind the words, leading to a deeper understanding. We were connected from heart to heart. We wanted to know what mattered. He wanted to know what mattered to me, and I loved the ongoing discovery of what he felt passionate about. When Richard died unexpectedly at the age of 45, I had no idea how I would continue to breathe, much less move forward in life without his physical presence. Most of my adult life, I lived under the grand illusion that Richard and I had control over our destiny. We were kind of people doing good work in the world and were devoted to our family, friends, and global community. As long as we worked hard, stayed in our integrity, and remained in love, everything would go according to our well-laid plans. My role as a wife and mom was to hold space for everyone like a crystal in a clock so they would have what they needed. I was holding all I had dreamed of as a young girl, the perfect life. Yes, we had the ideal life, but truth is, I wasn't fully grateful for it. I had been lulled into the kind of complacency that often comes from success. I was sleepwalking through my life, and I didn't even know it. My kids were growing up, and I had been feeling inklings of something that was incomplete, and deep questions nagged at me daily. What is my life's purpose and passion beyond being a good wife and mother? What else do I have to contribute, and how can I serve and honor my life here? Even though I had co-authored Don't Sweat the Small Stuff in Love and written Don't Sweat the Small Stuff for Women, both New York Times bestsellers, I hadn't owned my career as an author. I'll never regret giving all that I did to Richard as his partner, so that he could fulfill his life's work and leave his legacy. Nor will I ever regret my devotion to nurturing our daughters. They are my most precious gifts, and it is a privilege to be their mother. Family means everything to me. I love Richard and miss him every day. I can hear his voice and laughter imprinted on my soul. I close my eyes, and there he is, with his exaggerated cleft chin and twinkling ocean blues, smiling back at me. The pain of his loss was indescribably intense, and it lasts to this day. Nothing about this experience has been easy. Yet that unimaginable phone call didn't halt my life. I can now see that the loss of my partner was my initiation, the divine event that changed my life so suddenly that it led me to the gateway of transformation, as yours has and will too. It led me to the answers to the questions I didn't even know I had been asking. After the numbness of shock subsided, my husband's death breathed new life into me, and I was awake and feeling everything. Why did this happen? Why did my heart open from this loss? When you are standing at a fork in the road brought on by heartbreak, whether that heartbreak is caused by death, a divorce, a breakup, a diagnosis, news of some kind that has shattered life as you know it, or any other kind of soul-shaking loss, there are only two possible paths to choose from. Which path you choose boils down to one question. Are you going to be a victim or are you going to be a hero? You can choose to be a victim or you can choose to be a hero. Here's what both look like. The victim, head down, slumped and broken, wallows in self-pity at the fork in the road, unable to get up. The hero feels just as broken but stands up, shakes off the self-pity, and moves forward, stepping, albeit slowly, into the journey ahead. Whew. Let's see. I think I'm gonna take a break for now on here. I'm gonna start losing my voice. I actually might hop onto TikTok. Um, so I'm gonna try that out. Bye, everybody. I'll come back and read more.